Hey everyone, so today's video is sort of the beginning of my decluttering project and the process of decluttering my whole collection. So I sort of came up with this new decluttering concept, I guess you could say. I wanted to go through all of my lip products and swatch them out and really figure out what I wanted to declutter and what I wanted to keep. But I just felt like that would have been a lot if I did all of that on camera and basically swatched my whole lip collection on camera. That would have been such a long and tedious video and almost painful for me at least, even though you guys may have enjoyed it. But through the process of figuring out how to do this, basically one day I came up to my makeup collection and I just decided to swatch all of my lip products. And throughout this process, obviously I wasn't doing it on camera because I decided I didn't want to do that all on camera. So I found some lip products that were pretty much exactly the same. So I came up with this video idea basically to go through the lip products in my collection where I found dupes. So these are the lip products and the dupes I found within my collection. So for most of them, it's just two dupes that are pretty similar, and I'm going to be decluttering one of them. So I felt like this was a fun way to declutter some of my lip products, but also show you guys dupes. So if you have one of these products, you don't need the other, or if you were interested in one of these products, you could purchase or decide which one you want depending on the formula and whatnot. So I thought this would be a fun idea to show you guys some lip product dupes that I found and also do a little bit of a declutter at the same time. So I hope that makes sense. Let's just go ahead and get straight into it. So I will be swatching these on camera, so I don't know how this is really going to turn out, but the first dupe I have are actually two lip products that I really love. The first one is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Canes, and the dupe for that is the Oma Beauty Lipstick in the shade Coretta. I really love both of these products. This NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, I believe I bought on Poshmark a while ago, and I guess at that point I didn't really realize how sketchy it was to buy lip products on Poshmark because you don't really know if they are used or brand new or not. So that top swatch right there is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Canes, and then this one is the Oma Beauty Lipstick. So again, that bottom one is the Oma Beauty, and the Oma Beauty I feel like is just a little bit more pink toned. So these are both matte formulas, so all of these lip products are not necessarily formula dupes, they're mostly just color dupes. So the formula of these is completely different. Obviously one of them is a liquid lipstick and one of them is a bullet lipstick, but the NYX doesn't fully dry down, so I feel like even the formula of these are pretty similar, at least more similar than it would be if it was a classic liquid lipstick type formula. So both of these colors are pretty similar. I just feel like I don't need both. And like I said, the NYX one I got on Poshmark and is maybe not the most sanitary, and I've had this for a really long time, so I feel like it's just time to get rid of this one. And I really love my Oma Beauty lipstick. This is not brand new, but I got this within the last year, so it's pretty new to my collection. The next two lip products I have are lipsticks, and one is from Milani. This is their Color Statement lipstick in the shade Matte Beauty. So this is a matte version of their lipsticks, and I'm not really sure how I'm gonna swatch all these for you guys, but as you can see on the top there is the Milani one, and then this is the Colourpop lipstick in the shade California Love, and this is one of their Velvet Blur formulas, which I do really like this formula. But this bullet, I don't know if you could tell, is sort of destroyed. The bullet kept falling out of the component, so it has been like dropped and just shoved back in here multiple times. So these do look very similar to me. So the top one there is the Milani in the shade Matte Beauty, and the bottom one is in the shade CA Love. So I do really like both of these formulas, especially the Velvet Blur formula from Colourpop. I feel like these are very similar. They're almost exactly the same color. I feel like the Colourpop one might be slightly more warm, but you really can't tell a difference, especially when you apply them to your lips. So I am just going to go ahead and get rid of the Colourpop Velvet Blur lipstick in the shade CA Love. Like I said, this bullet is kind of destroyed and falling apart. I also would just prefer to keep the Milani one. I don't really support Colourpop anymore, so I'm trying to get through some of my Colourpop products, and since these are pretty much exactly the same, I really don't need them both. You will notice that most of these are drugstore products. I don't really purchase high-end lip products, but I think it's still interesting to see all these dupes. But one that I do have a high-end dupe for is the Bite Beauty lipstick in the shade Chai. I don't know if they still even sell these lipsticks, but the dupe that I found for it is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Rome. And again, these NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams I got on Poshmark, so it's maybe not the most sanitary. And I also have had them for a pretty long time, so I feel like I just need to get rid of some of my NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. So that probably tells you I'm going to be keeping the Bite Beauty lipstick in the shade Chai. This is also just a little mini sample, so I feel like I'd rather keep a mini than a full-size product. And these are definitely not exactly the same. The Bite Beauty one is a little bit darker, so the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream is on the top right there, and then the Bite Beauty lipstick is right below that one. So the Bite Beauty one is definitely a little bit darker, and they're definitely not exactly the same. And now that I'm actually swatching them again, I feel like they're not very close dupes at all, but I am still going to get rid of the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Rome. I feel like this is just so old and I don't use it enough, and I feel like the outer packaging of this looks more similar to the Bite lipstick than the actual product on the inside does. So I feel like I just don't need them both. And again, I have so many lip products, I'm really not going to be able to get use out of all of them. So I know I need to declutter some of them. And my NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams are just on their last leg and they are pretty old. So I am still going to declutter this, even though these are definitely not really dupes. The next little dupe we have is again another NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade San Diego, and the dupe I found for this is one of my Milani Color Statement lipsticks in the shade Nude Creme, and I need to wipe off these swatches so I can continue this for you guys. So again, these are more so color dupes. Obviously, the formulas are not exactly the same. One of them is a bullet lipstick and the other is a liquid lipstick type of formula. Even though the NYX don't dry down completely, they're not that classic liquid lipstick formula. So I feel like they are a little bit more similar to a bullet lipstick. So on the top there, we have the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade San Diego, and then the bottom one is the Milani lipstick in the shade Nude Creme. I feel like, again, they're not exact dupes, but they are pretty similar, especially when you apply them to the lips. So if anything, I feel like the Milani one is a little bit more light and peachy, and the NYX one is a little bit more pink toned. So they are still pretty similar, and I feel like I definitely don't need them both in my collection. I'm just not getting use out of all of the lip products in my collection, so I am going to go ahead and declutter the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. And then the next dupe is another high-end lipstick. This is the Stila Stale Day Matte Lipstick in the shade Papillon. So this is definitely a very matte product. And the dupe for this is the Makeup Revolution lipstick in the shade Chauffeur. I'm not really sure if either of these are still available, but the shade Chauffeur is one of my favorite sort of nude lip colors, and it's a little bit more on the sheer side. So the Stila one, again, is on the top there in the shade Papillon, and then we have the Makeup Revolution lipstick in the shade Chauffeur. And again, they're not exact dupes, but they are pretty similar. I feel like the Stila one is a little bit more pink toned, and the Makeup Revolution one is just a little bit more neutral, which I actually like better. So I will be decluttering the Stila lipstick. I also don't love this super matte formula, and I like that the Makeup Revolution one is a little bbit more sheer and just more natural looking on the lips. Now we are moving on to some lip gloss dupes. So the first one I have here is the e.l.f. lip gloss in the shade Sheer Watermelon. This is one of my favorite lip glosses. And then I have the Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Flying Horses. So again, a lot of my Colourpop products are pretty old because I don't support them anymore. So I obviously back in the day bought a lot of Colourpop because they were so inexpensive, and I now regret that because I have so many Colourpop products and I don't support them anymore, even though their products are really nice. Also, this gloss, these ultra glossy lips, the applicator, they have a brush applicator, which I really do not like. So I just tend not to reach for them at all. And again, these are not exact dupes. They are pretty similar, especially when you apply them to the lips. So the top gloss there is the e.l.f. gloss in the shade Sheer Watermelon. And then the one on the bottom is the Colourpop one in the shade Flying Horses. The shade Flying Horses is a little bit deeper, and the e.l.f. one is a little bit more red. So they're not exact dupes. But the Colourpop one is also a lot more sheer. The e.l.f. one you can sheer out a lot. That's just a really intense swatch. But these are pretty similar. I feel like I don't need them both, and I just don't reach for my Colourpop glosses very often, so I am going to go ahead and declutter this Colourpop gloss in the shade Flying Horses. The next dupes I have are actually 3 glosses, which is kind of ridiculous that I found 3 glosses that were pretty similar in my collection. So the first one is another Colourpop gloss in the shade She's Here. This is one of their So Juicy glosses, which I do really like this formula. It's super glossy, but it's also really sticky, so a lot of people don't like it, and it does have that peppermint tingling effect. And then the next one that is pretty similar is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline. This is pretty similar. Again, it's not an exact dupe, but it's that pretty nude shade, and I just feel like I don't need them both. They look pretty much the same when you apply them to the lips, so I feel like it's just not necessary to have them both. And then the third one is this e.l.f. High Shine Liquid Lipstick in the shade Naked Nude. So this says it's a liquid lipstick, but it's really just a pigmented lip gloss, which usually I don't like really pigmented lip glosses, but I do actually really love this formula, and these used to be some of my favorite glosses. So I feel like the Colourpop So Juicy in the shade She's Here and the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline are definitely more similar than the e.l.f. gloss, but right here I have them swatched out. So the top gloss is the shade She's Here in the So Juicy Colourpop formula. The second one is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline, and then the third one is the e.l.f. lip gloss in the shade Naked Nude. So again, the e.l.f. one is definitely not as similar as the top 2 are, and the e.l.f. one is definitely a little bit deeper and a little bit more brown tone, so I actually prefer the other shade better. And I am going to be decluttering, if you haven't guessed already, the Colourpop So Juicy gloss, and I'm also going to be decluttering the e.l.f. High Shine Liquid Lipstick in the shade Naked Nude, and then I am going to be keeping the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline. I do really love these butter glosses. They're some of my favorite gloss formulas. And again, we have another 3 product dupe. So the first one is an e.l.f. High Shine Liquid Lipstick. This is the other shade I have in the shade Bitten Pink. I really love this one. I prefer this shade over the other one that I just decluttered. And then the other dupe that I found for this is the Bareminerals Gen Nude Gloss in the shade Everything. This is just a little mini size, and I just never reach for it. And it's a pretty pigmented gloss as well, so it's very similar to the e.l.f. gloss. And then the third dupe that I found is the Colourpop X Delilah. This is one of their ultra glossy lips in the shade JJ, which is a really pretty shade, but again, this brush applicator is not my favorite. I don't support Colourpop anymore, and these ultra glossy lips from Colourpop are pretty old in my collection, even though they still do perform fine. So right here we have these swatches. The first one is the e.l.f. lip gloss in the shade Bitten Pink. Then we have the Bareminerals Gen Nude Gloss in the shade Everything. And then the Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade JJ. So obviously the Colourpop one is a lot more sheer than the other 2, but I feel like the Colourpop is a better shade dupe for the e.l.f. gloss on the top. but the e.l.f. and the Bareminerals gloss are a lot more pigmented, so they're definitely a more similar formula dupe. And the Gen Nude gloss from Bareminerals is just a little bit more mauve toned than the e.l.f. gloss. So they are pretty similar, but again, they're not exactly the same. So I am going to be decluttering the Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade JJ, as well as the Bareminerals Gen Nude gloss in the shade Everything. And I'm just going to be keeping the e.l.f. gloss in the shade Bitten Pink. Again, this is one of my favorites, and this used to be one of my favorite glosses before I got so many glosses in my collection, and I have neglected this, so I definitely need to get a lot more use out of this one. And then we have one more dupe here, some more glosses. So the first one is a NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Fortune Cookie. And then the other one is the Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade New Day. So these are not exactly the same. The NYX one is more of a cream formula. It doesn't have any shimmer or anything in it, but they are pretty similar when it comes to the shade. I feel like the only difference is that the Colourpop one has a little bit of, not glitter, but like that shimmery metallic finish. So here are the swatches on your right. That would be your right, I believe. The first one is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Fortune Cookie, and then the bottom one is the Colourpop gloss in the shade New Day. So as you can see, the NYX one is a little bit more peachy, but I feel like if you shear it out on the lips, that swatch is very built up. But if you shear it out, I feel like it'll be pretty much the exact same shade as the Colourpop gloss. So I really feel like I just don't need both of these in my collection. And again, I'm not getting enough use out of my Colourpop products, or really any of my lip products, which is why I need to declutter some more, and this video is definitely very helpful in trying to cull down my lipstick collection. But if you haven't guessed by now, I will be decluttering the Colourpop gloss in the shade New Day, and then keeping the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Fortune Cookie. Again, this is one of my favorite gloss formulas, and the Colourpop ones are not my favorite. I don't support Colourpop anymore, so I will be getting rid of this. And I really didn't realize how many Colourpop products were in this video, and almost all of them were dupes for Colourpop products. So I feel like a lot of these are definitely not super unique, but I hope this was sort of helpful, or at least interesting for you guys in seeing some dupes for some products you may already own or want to purchase. And I really hope you like this different sort of declutter type of video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I do post new videos 2 to 3 times a week, so make sure to stay tuned for those. And if you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified every time I post. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.